Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odesa, and we continue for today. Topic of the current briefing is admission campaign 2023 under the martial law. Our current guests are Maya Nikolaeva, first vice-rector of Mechnikov Odesa National University, and Yevhen Yurash, head of the Student Professional Committee of Mechnikov Odesa National University. Ms. Nikolaeva, could you share the details about university? Good afternoon. We are very pleased to be here at this media platform, and we hope that our today's meeting will be useful for those who are listening to us and watching us today. I would like to say a few words about university and about the admission campaign. First of all, I'd like to say that Odesa National University is not only the oldest institution in the south of Ukraine, but it is also the most powerful. And the institution offers not only education services and diplomas, but also the possibility for scientific activities and for different student activities. But we will share details a bit later. Now, I would like to share information about our future students and their partners, namely how the education in the university is organized, taking into consideration the situation over the last year, starting with the lockdown and quarantine, and now we have the war in our country. It is very important to say that our university is among the few universities who are able to offer offline classes. We also offer blended format for those students who are staying outside our region or outside Ukraine. In this case, we ensure simultaneous regime for students offline and online through Zoom application. And one more possibility is asynchronic possibility for those who cannot join our online broadcast, but they can get information through a remote platforms model, Google Class, and they, through these tools, can remain a part of the educational processes. Why have I started from this? Today, we understand that for modern students, socialization is very important to form the civic opinion, to communicate with like-minded people. I believe that those who are admitted to the university have the same university spirit. And classroom education is very important, allowing our students to not only communicate, but also to gain professional knowledge, to receive and to gain the diploma of Odesa National University, and to continue their professional life and professional career. The issue of classroom education is very important for me nowadays. And as for other important issues, namely the conditions for offline operation of the National Odesa University, we have properly equipped shelters, meeting all requirements for these shelters. And Yevhen could share more details because our students are actively involved in the process. We have the certification of the relevant commission for these shelters. And we have everything possible for the continuation of the educational process, even in the event of the air raid alert. And this is important information both for students and for parents. Parents should not worry, because in case of an air raid alert, our students can go to shelter to continue their studies there, together with their tutors and other students. This means that we don't worry that our students and our professors can feel safe. Perhaps Yevgeny can add a few words. Thank you for the invitation. First of all, I would like to say that today students are actively involved in volunteering activities. They also actively involved in checking shelters and equipment shelter, because this is our common challenge now, and the students understand this quite well. Recently, we've been actively involved in supporting IDPs from the Kherson region. We have organized money-raising campaign, and we have raised more than 40,000 hryvnias. And we have also collected humanitarian aid, personal hygiene products, and products for children. We not only provided all these items to people residing in Odesa, but we also went to Kherson to provide the support there. And today we have also sent our aid to the Kherson region. Students and professors were actively involved in the process. We have also received support from the Box Federation of the Odesa region, managed by Vice President Alexander Gordienko, who provided us with the free of charge transportation. I'd like to say that we have contacted zoo volunteers involved in evacuation of animals from the city of Kherson and from the Kherson region. Animal food was collected by our students. We also report about everything, because people trust us, and it is very important to understand that this is quite a big amount, meaning 40,000 hryvnias to be raised by students, and you can get all information needed in our social media, on our social media pages. As for shelters, our shelters have everything which is needed, including fresh water, food, which can be for 3 days according to current legislation, and our students, our parents can check everything, and students are actively involved in the process. I would like to say that we are the part of all committees in our university related to the educational process, including shelters and the classes. That's it from my side, and I would like to thank the administration of our university for this. Do you have any questions? Yes, I have some. You mentioned that you offer several forms of education. Could you share us the information about the percentage of offline and online classes? As for this educational year, we have assured educational process as follows. For the first month, 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the faculty, the lectures were provided in online format. But then we moved to classrooms for practical classes. First-year students started in offline regime throughout the year. those who were abroad were involved in blended format. Of course, we have some faculties with the practical tasks and where the work in labs is needed. In this case, students of those faculties also studied in classrooms throughout the year. And of course, except for those students who are staying abroad. And as for the graduates, those with bachelor degrees are now undergoing the state testing and certification, and we still have to work for 1 more week with them. Around 70% of students have opportunity to work and to study in classrooms. We understand that no one wants to lose their students nowadays. That's why we do everything possible to create favorable conditions, even for those students who cannot attend classes in classrooms. That's why we offer blended format, which allows to provide education and studies to everyone. The specifics of our university, and it is a long-term tradition, is a quite a liberal approach to communication between administration, professors, and students. For example, that was up to our faculties to make a decision about the format of their work, depending on the amount of students who stayed in Ukraine, in the region, and who stayed abroad. That's why if you have information that some faculties worked online, others offline, it could happen, and that was the individual decision of a faculty. When it comes to natural sciences, the students mainly worked in classrooms and studied in classrooms. For those faculties, when it was possible to work online and at least 40% of students were abroad, the online format was offered or blended. That's why we adjust to our students. We adjust to our professors and to our staff, because some of them have left abroad. Of course, we should also preserve our staff and take into consideration the current situations, adapting to the current situation, adapting to every individual faculty. We adjust the whole educational process. I'd like to thank our students because in our universities, students are quite active, and they're active in different domains. And I would like to say that students are different today compared to what we had a decade ago or 20 years ago. These are completely different people who have their own opinion, who have their own vision of the situation and of the life in general. Students don't worry now about what they require from the university, and the university just tries to respond accordingly. We hope that we have established quite good communication with our students. And this is one of the reasons why, despite the situation in our country, despite the fact that some educational institutions have quite a significant outflow of students, we, on the contrary, were able to admit almost the same number of students in 2022 as it was in 2021. So there was almost the same amount of entrance, and we hope that this year we will have at least the same number of students as we had last year. Thank you. Taken into consideration the recent events, the recent attack on Odesa, when your colleagues when the Polytechnic University was damaged, do you cooperate with them somehow? Yes, thank you for the question. The tragedy that happened with our colleagues from the Polytechnic University made us support the students and professors of the Polytechnic University. We communicate with the union of the students from the Polytechnic University, including its head Marie, and our students also helped to clear up debris in the Polytechnic University after that terrible attack. We also supported them with money, water, tools needed for clearing up the debris. For example, we bought sacks just to collect all the rubble there. And in their turn, students from the Polytechnic University and their unions also supported us in our aid to the city of Kherson and to the Kherson region. And this is how we cooperate with students from other universities. We have the same studenthood because there is the war in our country, and the students who stay in Ukraine are real patriots of their educational institutions and Ukraine in general, and they work together to achieve common goal. And not only the students from Mechnikov Odesa national universities, but students from other universities are involved now in different activities, showing that we are united as never before. And this is also a great example for students of Europe and of the whole world. I'd like to say that in such difficult times for the students of the Polytechnic University, they were able to support us. Nevertheless, in our aid to Kherson, for example, they provided a big amount of fresh water, clothes, and they were also involved in money raising. Thank you. One more question. We've survived the winter, and how you were able to work in the condition of having no power supply, no heating. How do you plan your work for the next year? Taking into consideration the situation in our country, that was actually the challenge for all educational institutions all over Ukraine, which is also related to significant decrease of funding. The students who study on contracts, who pay for studies, were not able to pay their fees on time. That's why we have changed the schedule of our work, and we organized the educational process to have more classes during one day. Sometimes we even worked on Saturdays when it was more or less warm. When the temperature was not that favorable for staying in the classrooms, we shifted to online, or we went on vacation, on holidays. So we adjusted the schedule of our work, not only meeting the requirements of students, but also meeting climate conditions and the financial situation at the university. So we were able not to turn on fully the heating system, to be able to ensure the whole educational process throughout the year. I believe that we were quite successful, subject to the conditions that we were facing. There were also special points on the territory of the university and on the territory of the dormitory, so-called points of invincibility, where students can charge their devices, when they could heat water, when they could drink hot tea. These centers, these points were open not only for our students, professors, but we were also open for everyone who required our support. Our invincibility points were fully equipped, and we had a very close cooperation with the union of students and postgraduates, and also the union of our professor. We also received humanitarian aid in the form of generators who helped us to ensure the education process. And now I can give floor to Yevhen because students were actively involved in this. And I would just like to confirm that was mentioned by Maria. We have opened several invincibility points in our university. First, we could use the money of unions. We were able to buy generators, meeting the needs of students and professors and the staff of our university. Then foreign partners supported us, and they provided us with the generators that we could install in every dormitory. And that really simplified our life and the educational process in general when it came to different exams and tests before holidays. The students, postgraduates, staff, professors had everything possible. And we also could support people from all over the city who just came to us to warm up. And we also opened quite kind of a cinema there. We used projectors to show films. So those people who came to us to charge their devices could also join our screenings. And I can say that we have done a lot of good things also, and contribute to our victory. I see that my colleague has a question. Good afternoon, Media Center, Ukraine, Odesa, Anatoly Kosin. As for the current challenges, have you changed the curriculum of the general curriculum of your university? For example, at the Faculty of Journalism, International Relations, or at the military department? We can either ensure educational process or not. Of course, we have been facing challenges nowadays, but the university just protects our educational front. And in our case, we cannot say about some significant changes in curricula. And as for organizing the educational process, we have adjusted to the situation. We offered online, offline, and blended regime for education. And as for educational programs, they have been implemented according to our plans. If you allow, just to add more information and just to say a few words about the admission campaign, which is a very important topic, I'd like to say the following. The university continues ensuring more than 48 bachelor programs, and we also have 52 master's programs, and if I'm not mistaken, 23 programs for PhD for postgraduates. We continue admitting students for all our educational programs. And the accreditation processes are also there. This is important for our graduates, for them to receive quality diplomas, accredited and licensed. And so everything's there despite rather difficult conditions, despite the fact that accreditation procedures require investments because it is on the paid basis. Despite this, we continue accrediting our departments and faculties. For the next educational year, we have planned quite a big accrediting mission covering more than 50 educational programs. And that's why we do not stop we do not allow ourselves to stop taking into consideration our current situation. We do not try to explain that we don't do something because of the war. No, on the contrary, we continue our work despite the war, despite difficult conditions, including of financial nature. I think that Odessa National University is able to continue educating professionals. I would like to bring your attention to admission campaign. From the 1st of July, we will launch the active stage of admission campaign, including registration in accounts for entrance. And I believe that our entrants they are already our students of our university. We want this to happen. Entrants can apply for 5 public places, and then including 50 applications for a contract education. That's why the students have a lot of possibilities. And also, there is the period for applications, and I would like to recommend our entrants and their parents to analyze the competition lists before applying. Just wait for 2-3 days for proper analysis of the situation and to see what scores have their fellow entrants, or we can call them colleagues. And I believe that this is when the most active period will start. As for the specialties that we offer, as for our educational programs, as for all 11 faculties that we have in our university, and I would like now to name them. This is the Economic and Law faculty, the International Relations, Politology, Sociology, Geography, Journalism, Biology faculties, the Faculty of Philosophy and History, the Faculty of Chemistry, of Math, Physics and Information Technologies, the Psychology and Social faculty. Almost all faculties, they are trendy now. I've missed philology faculty. And I would like to emphasize that we open new educational programs. We launch new programs. We're not only able to preserve the existing educational programs, but we're also able to launch new programs in the framework of well-known specialties, taking into consideration the current situation and our current challenges. We also take into consideration the expectations of our employers, because we understand that our students should be able to find jobs. And our employers are very active stakeholders who can provide their advice and focus our attention on specific professions. So we are not only able to survive, but we are able to develop despite the challenges we are facing. And also, so by the 31st of July, you are able to apply, and on the 5th of August, we'll provide information to the students for state-insured places. On the 9th of August, there will be students who will study on the contract basis, who will get the information about their admission. And around the 10th of August, we will have relevant orders for the admission of students. First, on the budget-insured places and also the contract-based students. Sorry, because you answered a bit different question, but I wanted to provide this information because I believe that this is actually an answer to your question. We continue working. We're able to adjust and we're able to change. Coming back to close cooperation with our students, today we receive advice from our students. We conduct surveys among our students and employers in terms of the needed changes and needed amendments. Perhaps we need to exclude some classes and we need to introduce some new subjects, because we should follow the current situation. And I believe that we are quite successful in this. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you for finding time to visit us today. Thank you very much. We are pleased to be here, and we hope that our today's briefing will be useful for our applicants, for their parents, and what is very important, it could be useful for our country, for our city, for people who want to have the second higher education degree. And we are always pleased to come here because we believe that you have your front, information front, and we have our educational front, which is very important for our victory. Thank you very much for your words. This is it for today. That was the last briefing for today. See you next time and stay tuned.